You at, come find them. I just put it up with the stick at the blinding. With the bitches, I know that they hiding. I got the keys, you ready, we sliding. See the rich and they know that we shining. You got the paper, but I see that they lying. I ain't real, I'ma shine like a diamond. Shawty gon' do what I said like I'm Simon. My little baby, she stay with a K, bitch. She in a diaper, she stay on some gay shit. I just put up the Glock with a say, bitch. We get to shooting, but niggas won't say shit. She been on the go, need maintenance.
Peace and love, family. Welcome back to the Hope, the HOPE, helping our people elevate. Today I got CMB Davillian repping Wave Runner Entertainment from East Texas to Southeast Kansas and now holding it down in the town. He's been locked in with music since he was 13. His latest work, Touch a Nerve, is already sparking conversations. But before we dive in, I want to introduce himself so y'all know in his own words. Go ahead, bro. Tell the people who you are and a little bit about where you're from.
Well, for starters, man, my name is CMB Davillian. I grew up in Coffeyville, Kansas. It's like a little border town in Kansas. But yeah, man, shit. I started out there. Shit, started making music when I was about 13 and shit, and I just been working my way through. You know what I'm saying?
What was it like? What was it like for you growing up in Kansas? Like, tell us about the environment.
Growing up in Kansas, it really builds you to be accustomed to the lesser things, I guess I could say, honestly. Like where I come from, there really ain't much there and it ain't much to dream for, you know what I'm saying? I want to say our colleges and stuff, we probably done seen probably one person ever come through and make it to the NBA, you know what I'm saying? One person ever come through and make it to the NFL. So coming from a place like where I come from, you not taught to dream at all. Like wanting to ever do anything on a major scale, it's never taught to you, and it's not even a thought, honestly.
Growing up, I'm saying, like spending time in East Texas and Southeast Kansas, how did both of those places shape the person you became?
You know, it's actually crazy. I actually got the same vibe for real, and they is two completely different. They two different cultures, honestly. Texas, you know what I'm saying? Texas culture is always going to outweigh a lot of them, honestly. But where I came from was like the real backstreet woods, you know what I'm saying? Real country side of Texas for real. Like I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and all we had to do was be able to, hop on horses, hop in a little swimming pool. And Coffeyville, damn near just the same thing for real, just minus a lot of the country stuff. Like it really wasn't much to do, honestly. But I would say, honestly, both of them places, they really taught, even though I said that where I come from, they don't produce dreamers.
Mm-hmm.
Being from a place like that, it made me a dreamer, honestly, because I always knew that I wasn't gonna be one of the ones to get stuck there. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Did you grow up around music, or were you first? You know, or were you the first person in your family to pursue it?
Well, my mom, she was born in the '80s for real, and when I came along, honestly, she was, I want to say, really tapping into the '90s, 2000 era. My mom's a big R&B fan, Beyonce, Jodeci, um, the list goes on and on for real, for real. She listened to a lot of R&B music. And then my grandma, she was born in the 60s. So she grew up under slim wet like blues music, and gospel. So I've always been around music and in the slightest touch, but I would say my brother was the person who first introduced it to me. Because me and my brother, we like 3 years apart, and when Lil Wayne and Eminem, people like that was really taking over, you know what I'm saying? Like my brother was like the first person to hop on it, and I wanted to be everything like my big brother. So I would say my big brother, he first brought the real music hand into my life.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Bro.
Already.
Who were the first artists that inspired you to start making music?
Lil Wayne. And it's funny I say Lil Wayne because when y'all watch this, y'all gonna say, man, that look like one of his sons right there. Because I get it all the time. People say I mimic him for real, for real. And to this moment, I really take it as a compliment because honestly, he brought the style, you know what I'm saying, having the tattoos and the snapbacks and all of those things. Um, he had the sound, honestly,
Yeah.
like Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj. I want to say for my generation, they took over the 2000s. So I go Young Money. Young Money was the first artist that ever made me want to make music.
When you first started, you know what I'm saying, did you see music as just fun, or was it a real path that you saw as something you wanted to take to the future?
My first ever making my first time ever making a song, I was about 13. And back then it was definitely just all fun. I want to say we got the idea of making music when I was probably like 9 years old.
Mm.
But back then, me and my brother actually seen it as a career, you know what I'm saying? So we just didn't have a lot of the knowledge, and we was kids, so we really didn't have no real footing or no drive for real. We was just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time 13, 14 came around, it was more so a showmanship than anything. I wanted to show people that I was good at something. Everybody had basketball, football, or whatever it may be, but music was one of them things where when I hopped straight into it, I was already the best. I was already number one. So I took it far. So the showmanship, honestly, that's what I did it for. I did it for the showmanship.
Tell us about your first song. You know what I mean? Let's go back to 13-year-old you. You know what I mean? Like, what inspired that, and how did it turn out?
My first song was a song called it was called Stuck in the Ville. And it's funny for real because I made the song, you know what I'm saying? Basically, it's like a little town anthem, even though it was far from it. It wasn't even one of them songs that I really wanted everybody to just sing or anything. But ever since I came into it, I've always been one of the ones where I just wanted to show everything about myself, where I'm from, what I like to do, what I'm into, everything. So honestly, I made the Stuck in the Ville song. It wasn't a good song or nothing like that, but to me, it really just showed that I was from where I was from and I was standing on it, honestly. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't took that so far within my career that now it's just a part of my image.
Did you get support from people back then, or did you face the doubt back then?
You know, it's actually funny because I get less support now than I did as a kid. It's almost funny because I understand it growing up in school. It's like, you know, you watching all of your friends walk the halls and stuff, and then, once you find one of your friends, they're doing something on a majorly scale,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of want to, they want to get behind it. It's nothing different than one of my friends getting accepted to a major college, and now every time you see me, I'm wearing this jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, I felt like they seen me and they they really wished I would have went far, but real life really started to kick in, honestly.
Yeah.
People started to show their real true colors and stuff. And now it's but I'm growing though. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
I'm growing and I'm still figuring out my fan base. I'm still figuring out, how to feed them. So I would definitely say I got more support when I was younger than now for sure.
What were some challenges in them early years, and how did you push through them?
Some of the challenges that I faced was, for starters, doubt.
Yeah.
I've always had this little sheet of doubt on myself, not necessarily the type of doubt that other people put on you, you know what I'm saying, when they're telling you that you might not revolve to be something or
Mm-hmm.
however. I just always felt like I was not good enough, you know what I'm saying? Like I always felt second best, honestly. And that was probably the biggest one I could say for real. My own self-doubt. That was my biggest challenge because I don't feel like anybody has ever really did no hate campaign on me, honestly. I don't feel like anybody has ever just made it where we're not gonna listen to Cortez or nothing like that. So I feel like, yeah, self-doubt was probably my biggest challenge.
When you look back, you know what I mean? Excuse me. When you look back, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
You got a long way to go. I would say honestly that you got a long way to go. Yeah.
All right, the name CMB Davillian. You know what I mean? Tell us about CMB, you know what I mean, and the villain. What is the story behind it?
Well, CMB the villain, CMB is actually my initials, you know what I'm saying? I got CMB, that's my daddy's initials. My pops, he died when I was 3 years old, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never known him. I've never had a conversation with him, or none of that. So like growing up, I gave myself CMB that name early because I just wanted to represent after my dad.
Okay.
And it's funny because I picked up the villain, not the villain, but
Mhm.
the villain. I picked that up when I was just getting acquainted with one of my good friends in the music industry. He goes by Mike the Don. And what I seen about Don was nobody calls him by his first name, for one. Everybody I know all calls him Don. But if you really look up the word Don, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like the top scholar, you know what I'm saying? Like the dean or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like Don, he's already a person. So I felt like Don just put him at a bigger pedestal, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And to me, it fit within his image. So while I was in the midst of me trying to figure out what really stood out about me, what made me me, I went back to my roots. I understood that I'm into superheroes. I'm into sci-fi movies. I'm into horror movies, whatever you want to call it. But I've always been infatuated with the bad guy
Mm.
because the bad guy in every story isn't necessarily a bad guy. He's just somebody who's understood, somebody who's misunderstood and does things for his own personal values. You know what I'm saying? So when I actually looked up the definition of what a villain was, I was like, damn, that really represents me. That compliments myself very well because everything I do, a lot of people look down on, they don't agree with, you know, but I
Mhm.
still keep on doing everything and keep on being unapologetically me. So seeing be the villain, it just means I'm myself unapologetically.
That's right. So tell us how you connected with Wave Runner ENT, and what does that partnership mean to you?
Well, I've always I've always slim with known Aaron Vincent. He's slim with a factor in Coffeeville, you know what I'm saying? He's done a lot of different projects and whatever you want to call it within the industry. But
Hmm.
my first toe to toe with him was through my uncle, you know what I'm saying? He happens to be a part of the Wave Runner Entertainment. And first he kind of sat me aside because I came on the podcast first and we did one and it resulted into something very well. And they brought me back and we just been corresponding ever since then. We just been vibing together. And it's a very family friendly environment, honestly, I could say, because I'm already working with my family
Yeah.
and it feels good, you know what I'm saying, working beside somebody that wants to see you win. So I got mad love for Wave Runner Entertainment. They family.
I can say I will. When I listen to your music, it feels personal and social at the same time. How do
Yeah.
you how do you balance that?
Well, I get my inspirations from a lot of different artists for real. And I feel like I just resemble the same type of music I like to listen to. I like to listen to empowerment, you know? Like
Hmm.
I like hearing something that when I say it out loud, it makes me feel like a better person or it makes me feel like, I'm striving to be greater or more.
That's
So
right.
when I make my music, I got something that's called like a villain style, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's a part of my image, but when I rap, you know, I want to empower anybody that's listening, honestly, for real. Somebody who feels like the world might be against them or everybody ain't on their side. Don't nobody think I'm number one, whatever it may be. But that's strictly my goal, honestly, is just to empower the next person to be better, to be unapologetically themselves. So I try to incorporate it very much in my message when I'm rapping.
All right. Touch a nerve. You know what I'm saying? That one, excuse me, did well. What inspired that?
Touch a Nerve, it was like I said, it was a podcast created from my uncle and his business partner, and they've been doing pretty well with coming up with interesting topics within the world, to shed light on whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great, honestly, because those two people, I always felt like their voice mattered for real, for real. And that's what I love about them for real is they bring people in just to get their point of view, their own side of everything. And I enjoy it, honestly.
Talk us through your creative process. When you create, you know what I'm saying? Do you start with the beat or feeling, or do you just come with the lyrics first?
I start usually I start with the beat, but a lot of the times the feeling always comes long before I ever even listen to the beat because like I said, I have my own little style on how I like to speak to my audience. So a lot of the times I'm always gonna be speaking about Slim with the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but that beat it gives you the feeling, what I'm saying, on how you would like to go. And honestly, like I write music, but I could almost say I freestyle too because when I'm creating a song, I usually the hum out the flow, you know what I'm saying, in my head, and then I just put the words behind it, and then I just go ahead and rap it on a beat, and it'd be that easy.
How do you keep your creativity flowing when you're feeling blocked?
Woo. uh, it's funny. Um, I don't think any person is ever gonna say this, but when I'm feeling blocked, honestly, I go back to my roots. And when I say my roots, I go back to some of the things that make me me,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'm a big horror fanatic. I'm a big superhero fanatic. And not the fact that I'm trying to talk about superheroes or horror movies when I'm rapping, but that's kind of my style. Like the villains that came in the party, I'm feeling like Scar in this bitch. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just try to stay true to the type of style that I want to go to. So in order for me to do that, like I said, I just go back to my roots and I rewatch a lot of the little movies, TV shows and stuff. And it always brings back that drive in me for real because like I feel like I feel like I'm these people, Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I got a Joker type style, I feel like I got a Scar from Lion King style. So I tap right back into it, and just keep it flowing.
That's right. What's been your toughest challenge as an artist so far? And you know what I mean? And how did you overcome it?
My toughest battle within being an artist, I could say honestly, has been the lack of support. The lack of support, honestly, because as hard as my music could be to me, I feel like if I'm not having supporters or if I'm not making people want to reshare or repost, then I feel like I'm not even bridging the gap or I'm not even, kicking my way through the door, honestly. And it's really a job, it's really a jab for real because that's what this music thing is about, honestly. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily is it for us to just have everybody in our corner, but it's to appeal to somebody, to get your message out to somebody. And sometimes, I just feel like with my lack of support, I be feeling like I don't actually reach my core audience. But like I said, I try to keep it pushing as much as I can.
I kind of thought about what when you said what you just said. Like I was thinking about what you're saying. I'm thinking like, it's a million McDonald's. You know what I mean? And so, what make your restaurant, you know what I'm saying, more special than the other one, where the customers are gonna come shop with you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a million artists. So even with the podcast, I mean, it's a million different platforms. What makes yours stand out? What I'm saying, what's gonna make yours different? What's gonna make
uh,
people come check you out? Not that ain't a question. I'm just, you know what I mean, analyzing what you were saying.
right. Yeah, I definitely like I said, still slim more trying to figure that out, honestly, because like I said, it's been a whole little journey with this for real. But I know it's my goal. I don't want to be one of those rappers who, I'm standing outside the gas station and I'm just talking about 100 sticks and 100 bows and 100 females, whatever it may be. Like I want to actually show people and teach people that there's definitely power in wanting to show yourself,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be yourself. That's my goal. That's my approach with it.
Do you ever feel pressure to follow trends, or do you just stay true to your own lane and your style?
I've never felt pressure to follow a trend. Honestly, because I have one thing that most artists don't have. I have a gimmick, you know?
Mhm.
Like I have a image that I'm trying to uphold, and I'm trying to attack the goal one specific way, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm not really I'm not infatuated with, like I said, being posted outside at the gas station, or me being in the club with 100 females throwing, like that's not my image. I don't feel like it really teaches people anything. I don't feel like it really shows people anything. Like it looks good. I will say that it looks good for the camera, but I
That's
don't feel like there's no real message in it.
no
So no,
you.
sir. I don't feel like I wouldn't ever follow a trend. I wouldn't ever follow a trend.
I agree with you on that 1,000,000%. But how do you know when the song is ready to share with the world?
Whew. How I know a song is ready to share with the world? I would have to say, when I get that feeling, because like I said, all my music, I try to make it empowering. So like when I get to the point where every word that I'm saying, I could feel deep down in my heart, and I
Mhm.
know the average person, if they hear it, they gonna feel that exact same way. That's when I know it's time. I've released a lot of projects in the last few years, and honestly, they weren't ready. They definitely weren't ready. But in the last year or so, I've been cracking down on it more because, like I said, I'm trying to show a message. So yeah.
How do you use social media to connect with your fans and promote your music?
Um, how do I use social media? Well, I'm real big into the little Triller thing, for real, for real. Like I like making the little videos and stuff so people can almost see like my recording process and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I use a lot of more Instagram and Facebook than anything. I do a lot of reposting, a lot of resharing. Only thing is I've never really been big in like doing promotion videos.
Mhm.
Like I've never just did like a little skit or something like that just to make a single push that much more. But I do that needs to be a lane that I probably need to cross in. But I'm not real big on social media, believe it or not. Like I barely use it for music at all. I'm more of a word to mouth type of person. I like to tell people what I'm about.
Yeah. Do you think social media helps artists more than it hurts, or is it the other way around?
You know, that's a hard question to answer. And I'm gonna say that because from the generation that came before me, I definitely feel like had they had what we had at that time, a lot more of those ones probably would have went further. But I feel like with our generation, a lot of social media has just shortened a lot of our attention spans for real. So
Hmm.
a lot of things that are usually supposed to get a lot of shine and a lot of light don't necessarily get the drive that they need. We've came into a real trendy generation. Everybody's trying to see what's the first thing that's gonna make them laugh, or give them the big eyes or whatever it may be. And to certain people, that's not really a goal. It's more so about the artistry and the talent. I'm actually one of those people. So I would say it helps to some, to the people who know how to appeal to every audience.
Hmm.
To every audience, I would say social media helps, but for certain people, it can be a hindrance.
How do you deal with the haters or criticism online?
I'm not really I hate to say this online. I'm not really a confrontational person, for real, for real. I'm not really big on fights and arguments and all of them things like that, for real. So a lot of the negative stuff, unless it's coming from probably inside my camp,
Hmm.
I try not to shed too much light on, for real, for real. I block a lot of stuff out.
What do you think separates a real fan base from people just chasing clout?
What separates a real fan base from people chasing cloud? Um, I would say a real core fan base. I feel like those people they gonna support you. You know what I'm saying? Right or wrong, might not necessarily be them reposting every every single song or video that you do. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a real fan stays on top of everything that you do. They try to support whatever it may be. And like I said, it doesn't have to always just be resharing or telling somebody that whatever they have going on. Maybe they just want to be the top listener.
Mhm.
Maybe they just want to be, when I look on my page, you feel me? I see that this person has been listening to me that much.
Mhm.
It's certain people really I can honestly say that genuinely do want to see you shine. But as sad as it is, we're in a troll era.
Mhm.
A lot of people they trying to get their 5 seconds, so they might come on to somebody's page or their song, whatever it may be, and just say something wildly outrageous. I really hate it, honestly.
Well, you
But yeah,
right. It's a lot of that. I've gotten that
yeah,
on my platform. My originals, those who've been following my platform, they know when I first started, I was sharing historical information on here. But
yeah,
I just recently started doing these interviews, these podcast interviews. Long story short, I would have people come in on the historical information, you know what I mean, with their hate speeches and stuff, you know what I mean, trying to get me to
yeah,
respond to it, but I just remove them real quick. I ain't finna entertain.
yeah,
But
yeah. I agree. I agree with that.
yeah, I don't entertain foolishness.
Hmm.
But what's
I,
next for you? You know, what I mean, you got any new music, any videos or collaborations?
uh, I just dropped. I've dropped two projects this year. Actually, my first one happened to be for my friends from my side. That was actually it was a tribute to my dad.
Uh-huh.
My pops, he passed on April 11th. You know what I'm saying? And it's fun. Like I said, I have a style behind everything. So for the people that go look it up, you know what I'm saying, and listen to it, you could see from the cover art that I took the bad guy from Princess and the Frog,
Mm-hmm.
and I created a character for myself, you know what I'm saying? And I made that my cover art because he's a shadow man. Basically he talks to the dead and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I incorporated that, you know what I'm saying, to make that a thing. So my first project I dropped this year, like I said, was for my friends from my side. I dropped my second project last month. It's called Selene and Neptune, and I'm very big into mythology, so that's where I got that inspiration from.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to I'm heating up. October, we like to call it villain season around here
Yeah.
because hey, that's when the villains they really come outside around here, you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting ready to drop my next project. This will be my third for this year, and it's gonna be called Welcome to Gotham. Now this one, I did a lot of projects, but I've never really been focused on collaborations or anything like that because I've always wanted to show what I can do.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I've came in contact with a lot of people who really value what I do. They see my vision and they want to be a part of it. So right now, I'm working on a big collaboration tape, like I said, and I'm gearing up to drop it somewhere around October-ish, maybe November, but it's gonna be big though. And my videos, I got some videos coming too. Like everything's villain style. So be looking out for it because everything you're gonna see from me is gonna be movie related. I try to That's my approach with this music stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I'm very big into the film industry. So I attack my career the same way. When I do a cover art, I try to make it resemble a movie poster, you
Yeah.
know? When I shoot a video, I want it to resemble a movie, like, and so on and so forth. So we going big with it next.
Now, do you prefer working solo, or would you like working collaborating with other artists?
Honestly, I prefer to work solo, honestly, because I'm I'm a versatile artist. I feel like I could get in every lane, honestly. But as far as like I said, my image and what I'm trying to attack for real, I only trust myself with that much power. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like when it comes to me, I'm gonna attack my goal
Mm-hmm.
the hardest I can every time. Not saying that any other artist wouldn't, but I try to keep the atmosphere feeling like what it's supposed to be. So I don't have no issue with collaborating with artists at all. It's just if I do collab, if I do collab with an artist, I try to make sure that they know like this not a regular degular song or project, whatever it may be. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna attack this goal real hard, to make sure that the people understand the message behind it.
Where do you see yourself or your career in 5 years from now?
Whew. 5 years from now, I see myself in 5 years. I'll have been at least 2, 3 years in the music industry. I've always wanted to attack because like I said, I'm into the DC realm and the Marvel and all of that stuff. So my goal with that is I want to be that person who they seen my style and they came to me and said, CMB, we see how hard you go with the villain stuff. We want you to make the soundtrack to the next Spider-Man movie.
That's true.
Or, you know what I'm saying? We see how crazy you like to go with your little horror stuff. Why don't you be the next Freddy Cougar, you know what I'm saying, in the next Freddy movie that we do?
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, I see the industry actually seeing what I wanted to do with my style and them just elevating me, honestly. I just feel like in the next 5 years, the one thing that I'm rapping about will be a lane for everything, the merch, the movies, the music, the shows, whatever it may be. I feel like in 5 years, this villain stuff, it'll be a thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like all artists, they really got their own little, gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
YTB Fat, he got, the Foxes. Beyonce, she got the Beehive. CMB the Villain got the villains.
Yeah, I like that. I respect that. I like that.
Mm. Yeah.
But beyond music, do you have any other creative outlets or business ideas or business goals?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, because I'm so like I said, because I'm so into the film industry, I was an actor, honestly, before I was ever a rapper. Well, let me rephrase. I was a thespian, a theater major. You know what I'm saying? I used to do theater when I was a kid, so I'm real big into acting. I love movies. I love all of that, and as you can see, I'm very big into fashion. So honestly, I just want to take my image, like I said, and I want to attack the film industry, the fashion, anything that I do. I want to get involved in all of that. I got a I got a clothing brand that I'm finna start really pushing. It's called the Villain Clan. Not only is it my clothing line, but it's my brand as my artist. I mean, as me being an artist. So I want to launch my Villain Clan. It's gonna be launched in the next 2 months. Once I get a little bit more traction, I'll start elevating into the film industry. A little bit more things. I like to stream and other things too. So be looking for me. I got a lot of little talents that I want to incorporate more.
See, that brings me into my next question, and I'm glad you said that. You know what I mean? Let me know a little bit more about you. But what does success look like for you? Is it fame, financial freedom, or leaving a legacy?
Leaving a legacy, and that always has to be the top one, honestly, because me as a person, I'm not a popular person. Like I'm not the most favorited to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly why I do the music, Like I wanna show people that it's beauty in being the underdog. It's beauty in being the second best or whatever it may be. You don't always have to be the greatest of the great, or you don't have to be the richest of the rich. It's more so just about standing strong on who you are as a person,
Mm-hmm.
and showing the people that you're not afraid to be yourself. And that's leaving a legacy to me. That's what it means, showing the people that I came in this way. I stood on everything that I believed in, and I showed people that it can work. That's what leaving a legacy to me means is standing on business.
And see, I respect that response too. So you got some good responses. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young artist trying to break into the scene?
What I would give, okay. Well, for starters, not to say that this is gonna work for every artist, but it works for me. I would tell another artist to get a gimmick, you know, find whatever about them that makes them special, you know, whether that may be basketball or cooking, maybe you're into the medieval times or whatever whatever you like that makes you special. I would say find a way to capitalize off of that, you know, not just the rapping, you know. I feel like the rapping image, that's easy to do. You know, it's easy for me to put on Louis and all these chains and all of that. It's easy to do that. But when it's time for me to go and do a video, I put the face paint on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I I I put the little, what's the word? I put the voiceovers, you know, from Batman, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
have a gimmick. And I feel like for me myself, I feel like it's gonna go a lot further because I got my own style than me just trying to be an average person and me just trying to ride the coattail. So I would tell a young artist to find what makes them special and capitalize off of that. Secondly, I would tell them to be ready for the rain. Cause man, being a rapper is honestly like, to me, it's one of the most heartbreakingest jobs that you could ever do because everybody has an opinion on everything you do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it may be you releasing a project or you dropping a video, a lot of people, you know, they have their opinions on it. And I would hate for somebody who's very passionate and very loving to what they enjoy doing. I would hate for them to get introduced to this world and it turn the whole thing upside down for them, because that's been me. You know what I'm saying? I I always have stood strong on my beliefs as far as how I want to do, but when I explain to anybody else, they tell me, man, you need to dumb it down, bro, or you need to just make it a little bit more simpler, and that'll never be me. Like I said, it'll never be me. And I would tell the next person to do the same, you know. Be ready for the hate.
Yeah, nah, for real. Cause yeah, they gonna come,
Yeah.
and you gonna see people trying to do what you do.
Yeah.
Don't get mad.
Most definitely.
Like look at it like you know what I'm saying. You started something.
Right. No, I agree with that.
If you could describe your journey in 3 words, what would they be?
If I could drop okay. If I could describe,
Your journey in
if
three
I could,
words.
I would say it's funny, but it all resembles around the same. I would say not easy at all. I would say that's my journey, you know what I'm saying, me as an artist, because nothing about this, nothing about anything that I've done has been easy at all, you know. Everything has been a fight to the top, or maybe not even to the top, but a fight for me to have a place out here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, they didn't they didn't listen to my music, you know what I'm saying? They didn't watch my videos, honestly, because I was attacking it a certain way. And like I said, I'm still learning every day to this day on how to really deal with it for real. But it's a journey for real. So I could really just say them is my 3 words. Not at all easy.
I got 2 more questions before we wrap up.
Go ahead, my man.
Where can people find your music, your podcast, and your social media?
Okay, I'm on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. All my platforms are under the same name, CMB Davillian. Now, Touch a Nerve, I want to say, is under the Wave Runner channel. So if you want to look up Touch a Nerve, the podcast, that's on YouTube under the Wave Runners Entertainment. And then yeah.
Make sure y'all go follow and support and hit that subscribe button. Go check them out. They got some good content over there as well.
And we coming with more. We coming with more.
My last question, bro. You got any final words, shout outs, or a message for the fans that's supporting you?
Yeah. I want to shout out I want to give a big shout out to both my big brothers. Honestly, I got one big brother. His name is Quantum Chancellor. He go by Quani, man. But like I said, he was the first person that ever introduced the music to my realm, and I appreciate him to this day for real, because I don't know where I would be if I had never picked up that that note. And I want to give a big shout out to my other big brother, Easy. You know what I'm saying? Easy. He seen what I was doing at a early age for me, and he appreciated, everything that I wanted to do. He understood that I was different. He understood that I didn't know everything about the realm, but he was passionate about helping me for real. He was the first person that ever really put me on my first few shows, and he recorded all my music for real. Like, I want to give a big shout out to both my big brothers for making my dream a real reality for myself. I want to give a big shout out to I want to shout out my family for sure too, because my family, they keep me on my toes as far as dealing with hate, with backlash, whatever it may be, for real, for real. Because like I said, this realm ain't easy to deal with, and I'm not the strongest person. I'm still learning every day, but my family, they keep me very grounded within this right here. So I want to give a big shout out to my family for real. And last but not least, I want to give a big shout out to all the villains, all the supporters, all the people that shout out, you know what I'm saying, that look for me, that listen to my music, that wake up every day with me on their mind, you know what I'm saying? I do it for y'all, like I said, man. My goal is to really just show y'all that it's power in being the underdog. It's power in being the second best for real. You don't always gotta be number one. You don't always gotta have a gold medal. I'm sitting here right now wearing silver because I'm showing y'all ain't nothing wrong with being second best. So shout out to my villains, shout out to my family, and shout out to my brothers for doing everything they did for me, man.